So what's happening with embassies and consulates worldwide? In this video, I'm going to give you an update as of what's happening right now with embassies and consulates, which visa interviews are scheduled, and which countries are now accepting immigrant visa interviews. So what are you waiting for? I'll see you on the other side. So in this video, we're going to talk about what's happening with consulates and embassies worldwide, specifically as it pertains to immigrant visas. And I know a lot of you have been asking questions, different embassies, different consulates worldwide. I'm going to try to provide some information in this video as much as I know from our cases, from information that we get at our Facebook group. We have almost 8,000 members there. We have a lot of information, and of course information that we get from other sources. So that's kind of what I'm going to be able to do in this video. If you're here for the first time, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any of our videos. Click that bell to be notified, and also give us that big like so YouTube is going to recommend this video to more people just like you. I am Jacob Sapochnick, and I'm an immigration attorney here in San Diego, California, and I do these videos every week just for you guys. So let's talk about what's happening in embassies and consulates worldwide. Remember, we're now in September. We passed half of the month, and the fiscal year for visas is going to start again in October. The prediction for the State Department is going to be an overflow of visas, specifically on the employment-based. More than 100,000 of them are going to be available in the new fiscal year, and more on the family side. There's going to be close to 300,000 extra visas available, overflow, to start the year. And again, this is a combination of a lot of things. It can be because of what happened during COVID. You know, the consulates were closed. There were no visas being issued. Things that are happening in the U.S. side. Many factors. So, but that's just the reality of what's going to happen. So, while the State Department issued the notice that consulates and embassies can reopen after July 15, in reality, most of them didn't really open. We see now and more of them are getting their calendars open. And what we tell our clients, and we check that for them as well, is that every embassy that has a calendar available, immediately try to schedule your immigrant visa appointments so you're not going to be left behind. And once again, I'm not going to be surprised that even if some of these embassies are going to open their calendars, there could be a possibility for them to cancel and reschedule those appointments, because you just don't know. Things are really fluid right now and everything is up in the air. But the good news is that quite a few of these embassies are reopening right now, and I'm going to go through a list of a few of them right now. And specifically for immigrant visa interviews, CR1 categories, family petitions that are being a priority right now to be scheduled. Also remember, like I mentioned in previous videos as well, even for the embassies that are closed, they are accepting emergency appointments. And I give you an example. We have a case where we scheduled an emergency appointment at the U.S. Embassy in Kenya before the embassy reopened. So we were able to send a request specifically to the post. We presented the situation. There was a U.S. citizen spouse in the U.S. who was going through a lot of emotional issues and a lot of emotional problems. And really, it was a really hardship in that situation, the separation, that they haven't seen each other for more than 11 months. And so while the embassy was still closed, it was a CR1 case where we were able to schedule the immigrant visa appointment, and the spouse was able to come to the United States. So again, we didn't have to wait for the actual post to open. We exercised the request for an emergency appointment, and they granted it. So as I mentioned in previous videos, for the posts that are closed, continue to request the emergency appointments, because you never know, they may be able to give it to you. So let's talk about some of the U.S. embassies and consulates in some of the different countries where they are actually processing immigrant visa interviews. So let's start with most recent one, which is Kenya. And like I mentioned, I gave an example before. We were able to get an emergency appointment in Kenya before they reopened, but now they seem to be reopened for immigrant visa interviews as of beginning of this month. So if you have interviews in Nairobi, you should be able to see their calendar open. Again, you should email the embassy and see and check on the website. But once again, everything I'm telling you in this video can change from from one day to the next. So, things are very fluid. We're trying our best to report what we know. The next embassy that I'm getting questions a lot, and we have quite a few cases there, is Mumbai in India. So Mumbai in India is currently open for fingerprints. They do biometrics for immigrant visas. And also we had 2 interviews for immigrant visas, CR1 cases that came from there. But last time I checked, just before recording the video, this video looks like they are now suspended again for interviews. So I guess we have to see, but there was some movement in Mumbai. They were giving immigrant visa interviews. At least we had some personally in our office, and I heard from other attorneys as well, but last time I checked, they are suspended right now. So that's Mumbai. Next embassy we can talk about is in Germany. We're talking about Frankfurt. And Frankfurt right now is suspended again. They only do emergency interviews. The reason I mentioned Frankfurt is because we had a couple of interviews there. They were scheduled, the calendar was open, and once again it's closed right now. So again, I'm not sure really what's going on over there, but we had 2 cases from Frankfurt without emergency appointments that got their visas, and but now they're suspended. So again, that's only for emergency appointment in that particular embassy. Let's talk about Japan, Tokyo. So Tokyo, as of mid-August, is scheduling CR1 visas, marriage-based interviews at that embassy. And as of now, their calendar is open. So hopefully, if you have cases in Tokyo, please go ahead and try to schedule them as soon as you can. Another one to report is Korea, Seoul. So the embassy over there is also scheduling interviews, immigrant visa interviews. So if you have cases there, make sure to check with that post to make sure that you're not missing anything there. In China, we know that only Guangzhou is scheduling immigrant visa interviews right now, and none of the other posts are opened to immigrant visa interviews. So if you have a case there, make sure to contact the specific embassy. And like I said, it is really important for you, whatever your case is, to communicate with your particular post. And again, the information in this video may not be relevant anymore in the next week or so, but for the moment, it's what we see as well. The embassy in Vietnam is accepting cases on a limited basis. We know that the immigrant visa is open, and they're scheduling cases, but not all cases. We know K1s are open in Vietnam, and they're working perfectly well, and there's no delays as far as we know over there. I get a lot of questions about the U.S. Embassy in Pakistan. That embassy is closed right now for immigrant visa processing, but they do accept emergency appointment. And we assisted a client last month to get their emergency appointment in Pakistan. So they are accepting it, and they are working pretty efficiently over there. So you can get your routine immigrant visa appointment, but you can do an emergency if you qualify. And once again, we highly encourage people to try to get those emergency appointments. The embassy in Paris has resumed processing immigrant visas. They're issuing CR1 visas and other immigrant visas at that post. So again, if you have a case over there, make sure you contact the post and try to see if you can schedule that appointment. So Paris is on. We also have a case right now at the U.S. Embassy in Bulgaria, and they are also scheduling appointments as of this month. So that's a good news as well. They were closed for a while. Obviously, they were closed since the pandemic started. So immigrant visa interviews in Bulgaria scheduling is open right now. U.S. Embassy in Belgium is also open. As of mid-August, they're scheduling immigrant visa interviews as well as non-immigrant visa interviews. But for immigrant visa interviews, you please contact the post as well to make sure you can, if you have a case that is supposed to be scheduled over there, check with them as well to see if the calendar is open right now. So these are the embassies that we know that are currently processing. There may be others, obviously, based on, again, reports we got from our group and other sources from our actual cases. The ones that I was able to get expedited, the ones that are closed, like I mentioned, Pakistan, we're also able to get a few cases in Singapore and also in Italy. We were able to get emergency appointments for immigrant visa only. So again, it is possible, it's happening. This is the recent update I have. Quite a few of you are asking me about F2a visas who are also stuck overseas. Those are subject to the proclamation. Spouses of green card holders, and again, those are not able to come even if the embassies are open, but you can still, if you meet an exception, you're able to use that exception to come even if you are within the limits of a proclamation. So once again, not all hope is lost, and I feel that in the next few weeks we're going to see more and more of these posts that are reopening, and I'll make another video to follow up to update you on which embassies are open and what's happening over there. So once again, if you have any questions, if you want to know about your particular post, post them in the comments, and I'll try to do some more investigation and see if we can get more information for our next video. So once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click that bell to be notified, and join our private membership, immigrationu.com. The link is right here. If you're going through the process of waiting for your immigrant visa interview, you don't know what to do, you're stuck, you want to be in a community to be able to talk to other members, get information, Zoom calls, this is what we do, and this is why I created this platform for you guys. So check it out, the link is right here, and questions, post them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.